Very excited to talk to new Commanders tight ends coach David Rye. You've told me everybody just calls you Rye. How many different ways has your last name been mispronounced?
I think really, well, what's the first one you would say when you look at it?
When I first saw it, I said Ray, and then I went to the pronunciation
that's what
guy.
it was. It was, it's just rye, like the bread.
All right.
Yeah.
How fired up are you for this opportunity?
I mean, this is awesome. It's special because when you ask that question, the first place my mind goes is to the leadership, and leadership sets the tone. And Adam and DQ have been phenomenal. Like the thing I'll tell you is, in the first week together, I feel like I know everybody in the building, and that says a lot about the approach they're taking.
And you have ties with Kliff, right? Going back to the Arizona coaching staff there?
Yes. Yeah, Kliff. I first met Kliff in 2013. This was...
How old were you?
I was just finishing my GA-ship.
Okay.
So this was essentially eight years of... Spent 8 years at the University of Iowa, and I was really looking for somebody with a dynamic offense. And so I flew down to Texas Tech. It was like graduation night to get my GA-ship, and I showed up. Instead of going to graduation, I went to Des Moines and took a flight down to Lubbock, Texas. Had never been there before. I'd never met Kliff, and went in at 4:30 in the morning, and the only guy there was Kliff.
Wow.
And that was whatever. So
was he expecting you, or did you just roll in like, hey, I'm here for a job?
No, he was not expecting me.
When you roll in on somebody at 4:30 a.m., like, that's not always like, oh, this looks like a pleasant conversation.
No, it's probably a little bit like your job.
Yeah,
you know,
like just begging you to talk.
Yeah. Where you just got to show up. But yeah, I mean, long and the short of it, we had a quick year there.
Dude, was Mahomes there then?
It was Baker.
Okay.
So
wow.
Yeah, it was Kliff's first year. I met him the first day. I was there for 11 months. We had Baker, we had Davis Webb, and then Patrick was coming in, and I got a call from Mike McCarthy, and I thought it was a prank phone call. And I ended up in Green Bay for 5 years, and then back with Kliff in Arizona, and now we're doing it again in Washington.
How excited are you to kind of re-rack this thing, to be back with Kliff? And you've been around the league, Green Bay and Tampa most recently, right?
Yes, yeah.
Back with Baker. I mean, how weirdly full circle is a lot of this stuff?
No, that was it. It's amazing. It's a small business, and it's obviously intense. And the thing I'll say is that it's the people you're around. I mean, I love working with Kliff, and he's a remarkable just leadership. You know, he's a remarkable example of leadership, discipline, and obviously offense. So the combination of working for, Adam and DQ and Kliff is, it's a dream come true, man.
That's awesome. Now, you are tight ends coach here, but your background's quarterbacking. You talk about Baker and Davis Webb, all these guys you've been around. Mm-hmm. What is the right way to develop a young quarterback?
I'm going to defer to Kliff and Tavita on that, because those are the guys that are coaching them. And really, my background is, if you look at it, it's really 6 years with the O-line, 4 with the quarterbacks, 4 with the wide receivers, coached the tight ends for a year. And, I've been around the entire offense. So the exciting thing about the tight end position is you're really taking the fundamental training of the offensive line and the detailed route training and footwork of the perimeter, and you're putting them together.
How vital is kind of that? In a lot of ways, that's the conduit between the pass game and the run game, and marrying those and making the concepts look similar and making play action work. Like, does that get your gears going? Does that get you fired up?
Yeah, definitely. Because even the evolution of this system, like you've seen it if you followed Kliff, it's been pretty dynamic to watch. From its origin to, what it's become, as an NFL offense, where, we're able to do those things.
Sure.
And that's without, I don't want to get into schematics too much.
I get it, man. I get
but,
it. If it helps on my quarterback development, I've asked Kliff and I've asked Tavita before. So I ask everybody that damn question.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What about guys aren't here right now? Maybe they are if they want to work out in the facility or whatever. Have you gotten to know any of the tight ends you're going to be working with here? Or do you know them from previous stops?
We have not worked together before, but I've had great interactions with the guys so far, and I've only met a couple of them, but talked to everybody on the phone, and I mean it's the reputation of the group is phenomenal. So it's a great group.
They're all really good guys, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but how tall are you?
6'4", I think exactly.
So you're a tall guy, but the tight end group you're taking over is shockingly large. I think Logan might. I think Bates is probably the shortest at 6'4", 6'5", and then the rest of them are like 6'6", 6'7". Does that matter at all?
Yeah, you love having guys with some length. I mean, of course that helps. They got to do a lot of stuff, especially at the line of scrimmage. Yeah.
I've asked you 100 questions. We just met. Thank you.
Yeah, PJ, thank you, brother.
David,
Thanks.
Thank you, man.